Greetings. This is Cameron Say from North Carolina A&T State University and Lead IT, the Lead IT project. And this video, I think, will hopefully explain to the viewers why they should be interested in careers in mainframe technology. I've been teaching this technology for, I guess, about 12 or 13 years now, and have put hundreds of students in careers in mainframe. So hopefully this will clarify why someone interested in an IT career should consider mainframe, because many of you, if not most of you, are not familiar with this technology, and I think you should be. So why should you be interested in a career in mainframe? Well, there are an abundance of mainframe technology jobs. Most of the Fortune 500 companies use them. 95 to 96% of all large commercial banks use mainframes. All government agencies, large government agencies, use mainframes. All large insurance companies use mainframes. All large retailers, Walmart, Target, Home Depot, they use mainframes, and you'll see why as we go through this, through the video. It is without question the most sophisticated business technology in the world today. There's no other commercial computer that can match the mainframe for performance, security, scalability, etc. The latest version of the mainframe is the Z14, which has something called end-to-end encryption. That means it can encrypt every byte of data on that machine at the hardware level, not the software level, which is how most of our encryption is done. IBM has architected encryption into the fabric of the hardware itself. So with doing very little, a user can encrypt all of their data with something that is very unique in the IT world today. And we all know how important security is when it comes to data. Mainframe jobs usually pay very well. Entry-level jobs pay between 20 to 30% more than other jobs in IT. For example, web developers on the x86 platform, programmers, etc. And it's simply supply and demand. There are fewer people that know how to use mainframe, so they have to pay a premium for the folks to attract people to those positions. Now, no matter what you want to do in IT, whether you want to be a programmer, whether you want to be a database administrator, whether you want to be a networking people, many of you want to be networking people, project manager, security specialist, whatever you want to do, that occupation is on the mainframe. So what the mainframe is basically just another architecture. And it's used you can think of it as a big, fast, secure server. I think that's a pretty good description of it. So you can get an understanding of what it is. It's not something exotic. It's well within the spectrum of IT, and it is pervasive. The technology is pervasive. It's everywhere. Just about all of you use a mainframe several times a day. You just don't realize it. Every time you swipe your ATM card or swipe your credit card or get a book travel or make a cell phone call, you are using a mainframe. The probability is 95% plus that you're using a mainframe somewhere. It runs the global economy. So if you unplug all the mainframes, global economy comes to an immediate halt. If you unplug Facebook, people are upset. They can't, post their messages, and they can't see their likes. But the global economy doesn't stop. The global economy, same with Google, same with Apple. You can unplug all of that, right? You can kill every Apple device in the world. The global economy will not come to a stop. Now, iTunes will, and Apple users will be affected, but the global economy itself won't come to a stop. If you unplug all the mainframes, the global economy comes to an immediate halt. No banking transactions, no airplane flights, no cell phone calls, etc. And because of its superior architecture, it's going to be around for a while. The banking industry, the insurance industry, and retailers, there's no replacement for what it does. And mainframe essentially is because mainframe does input-output processing, which means you can process transactions. There's nothing that comes close to the ability to process transactions that that a mainframe can do, that can perform. There's just no replacement for it, and none on the horizon. So why is this technology still being used? Because the technology was born in the mid-1960s. And it's an IBM technology. It was intended to have bulletproof performance, bulletproof security, bulletproof uptime, and that's what it's done. The architecture of it, the engineering design is so appropriate for the work that it's doing that there's no replacement for it. That's why it's still being used. It can do things no other business technology can do. Processing transactions, for example. Visa processing their credit cards. MasterCard processing their credit cards. American Express. Target processing their transactions. There's no replacement for it in terms of what they need. Now, you can try to apply other technologies to this, but the performance is going to be orders of magnitude poorer than mainframe, and it's not going to be remotely as cost effective. The security is almost bulletproof. There's no better security in terms of securing applications and data than the mainframe. It has continuous availability, so if you have mission critical applications, those applications will run 24/7, 365 with no interruption. Very scalable, so you can double your computing resources temporarily and only pay for those resources while you're using it. And then when you don't need them anymore, you can scale it back and just pay for what you use. So that scalability is unmatched, and you don't have to increase your data center footprint. So you, on the same machine, you can double your computational resources on the same machine. Now, this statistic is somewhat outdated. Now it's about 500,000 transactions per second. Z14 can do 500,000 transactions per second. IBM worked continuously to improve this technology every day, and they have thousands of some of the brightest minds on the planet working to make this technology even better than it was before. Each iteration, each new version of the mainframe usually doubles the performance of the previous version. As I said earlier, 95% of all large banks, insurance companies, and public sector entities like IRS, Census Bureau, they need mainframe to do their business. There's nothing that anyone has come up with to replace it, and it would take billions of dollars of R&D to create a comparable technology. Will it be around? Yeah, until anyone comes up with something to replace it, yeah, it'll be around. So you ask the question, if this technology is so important, why isn't everyone using it, teaching it? It's not taught in many schools. A&T is one of the few schools in the country with a focus on mainframe. And there's not a real easy answer for this. The simplest answer would be in the 1990s, with the advent of cheap commodity processors, the Intel, for example, and AMD, et cetera, there arose this belief that all you had to do was put together a bunch of cheap processors to replicate the performance of a mainframe. But as you learn more about the technology, you'll understand why that is an impossibility. You can throw a bunch of processors at a problem. For example, you have a complex math problem to solve, and that's called supercomputing, parallel computing, supercomputing. It's good for things like that, facial recognition, etc., voice analysis. It's good for that, and that's not the mainframe's hallmark. But that doesn't solve the problem of sequential transaction in order, right? That has to be done on one thread of work, so that the data doesn't corrupt each other, so that transaction A is completed before transaction B, or transaction 1 is completed before transaction 2. And there's just no way around that. The nature of transactions themselves are such that you need a mainframe to do that. You can't do it with a bunch of commodity processors. So, and I think we've addressed this before. How extensively is it being used and who uses it? They're pervasive, and any firm that has heavy input-output needs needs a mainframe. This includes insurance companies, large retailers, credit card companies, etc. So what are the career paths? Well, as I said earlier, mainframe covers the entire spectrum of IT, database networking, systems application development, security, project management, web, mobile, and everything else. So, most of my former students just love this technology and have had meaningful careers and well-paying careers. It's interesting stuff. So what is a mainframe? The term mainframe used to apply to many machines with many companies. So Digital Equipment had one, Digital Equipment Corporation, or DEC, had a mainframe. Sperry had a mainframe. Burroughs had a mainframe. And they were just knockoffs of the IBM. IBM came up with the technology. These other companies arose that had similar engineering approaches to the mainframe. But for the last 10, 15 years or so, when you say mainframe, you mean the IBM architecture system Z. It has the fastest processor in the world, and its design provides high security, high reliability, and high scalability. Sometimes the term mainframe is referred to IBM power architecture, but the mainframe community per se doesn't really embrace that term. So let's talk a little bit about money. Starting salaries in mainframe are impressive. Recently, our full-time entry-level people, and this is people coming right out of college, are starting between the mid-70s and the low 90s. And I don't remember when I've seen a salary, an offer for a full-time position under 80K a year. We have several banks that are paying 92 to start, which is not bad money. Now, the latest data I saw was that 10,000 people were reaching retirement age every day, and will be for the next 10 years. Now, of course, all those aren't mainframe people, but mainframe people are included in that. Because this technology hasn't been taught in schools, there's a gap, so that most of the mainframe people are within 5 to 15 years of retirement. And every year that goes by, that retirement increases. So my prediction is that the salaries are going to be around 100K in a year or so. Within 2 years, the starting salaries full-time are going to be 100K. Internships, high end is 35. I haven't seen any under 20. But there's several banks that are paying 35,000. No, I'm sorry, $35 an hour to start. So this is the question always. Students say, I want to do X, I don't want to do mainframe. Well, if you have a skill that's rare, that's going to ease your entrance into the IT field. And once you're in IT and you know mainframe technology, moving to another technology is not a problem. I have students that move from mainframe to other technologies all the time, particularly Linux. Now, many of them stay with mainframe, but it's not going to limit your options to any degree. Learning mainframe is learning IT, and you learn IT in a good way, because everything you do on a system today had its start with big iron. We call mainframe big iron. And all the web stuff you do, the new operating systems, everything began with the principles that the mainframe was based upon. So learning mainframe, you learn those principles, and those principles are transferable to other platforms. I recommend students learn Linux though. And Linux runs on the mainframe also, but learn Linux, because Linux is going to increase your options. So career fairs, and this is a question that students always ask, well, where can I go and see people that are looking for mainframe folks? So there's no national mainframe career fair. However, the major conference is by a group called Share, and their website is www.share.org, and about 1,500 mainframe professionals attend this twice a year. Usually the one in the winter is on one coast and the one in the summer is on the other coast. For example, Sacramento and Boston. And I've been to many, many shares, and hopefully you can attend one of those. That is a great place to showcase your mainframe skills as you acquire them. So Share has a very rigid policy of not recruiting other people's employees, because everybody be going after everybody's people. But that does not apply to students that are looking for jobs. So Share welcomes students and people that are looking for jobs, whether you're in a degree program or not. If you are seeking a job in mainframe, you're fair game at Share. And it's a great place to network and get your skills out there, get your name out there. At A&T, we have an Extreme IT Day every year where we showcase mainframe and cloud computing. And so in the afternoon, companies come, and IBM, Bank of America, John Deere, et cetera, 5 or 10 companies, and they look at the senior projects. So even if you're not in a program, you should want to come to this. It's in Greensboro, and I will post more information about Extreme IT Day on the YouTube channel. One of the things that I want Lead IT to do is to allow you to interact with mainframe professionals. So I've lined up several people, all hiring managers, and some with deep technical expertise to speak with you online. So stay tuned for that. Student club organization. There's this thing called Z Next Gen. The website is in the video. It's an organization for people that are new to mainframe, whether you're a student or not. And there are mainframe blogs on the web, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So there's no GPA requirement for our apprenticeships. Since it's the non-degree program, GPA requirements are not a consideration. And this slide is basically for college students. This is a video that I use for other folks too, for my classes. But so your GPA is not an issue. Now, some of you are in programs, in academic programs, and this pertains to you. Again, the requirement to be a part of Lead IT is not, you don't have to be in a degree program. But if you are in a degree program, a lot of times it's hard to get an interview if your GPA is below 3.0. But in the case of the apprenticeships, that's not a consideration. This is basically competency based, not degree based. So what areas should you focus on? There's no magic in taking a mainframe course. Okay, entry level jobs basically require a good foundation in IT, and we've provided some resources for you to build your IT skills. Now, I would start with programming, either HTML or Python. That's where I would start, and then you can learn something about networking too. And just the basics. It doesn't require any deep expertise because you're going to be apprentices, and you don't really need to have deep expertise, but you do need to have some familiarity. So we have provided facilities for you to do that. So I want everybody to remember, no matter where you are on the spectrum, some of you have deep skill sets. Some of you have worked in IT. Some of you worked in mainframe, and you're looking to come back. But some of you don't have any exposure to IT at all. But you're interested in a career in IT. So it can be done, but you got to cover the basics. As I said earlier, I would recommend self-study Python course, HTML too. If you don't know HTML, everybody needs to know HTML. HTML is pretty easy. I recommend a course at codecademy.org in Python. And so with that, I want to welcome you to the exciting world of mainframe. I wish you all much success. And that's the end of this presentation. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. These are some slides at the end of it. So Dr. Harris and Jenna Banks, she's Harris now. She actually married Dontrell. So Dontrell Harris and Jenna Banks got married. Both of them have very successful careers in mainframe. And so these are some videos that will introduce you to them and something about Master the Mainframe. And the Master the Mainframe is a contest that I want you all to participate in. And I wish you all much success. See you online.